Now, I can understand them wanting to make their money, but you have to think about your fans. This is a pivotal moment for y'all sport. Why would you have a lockout at a time like this? For the life of me.
The WNBA 2026 season is officially canceled. Let that sink in for a second. Not because of a strike, not because of a pandemic, not because players refused to show up, but because the people running the league completely mismanaged everything. And yes, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like clickbait. Stick with me, because what I'm about to reveal will make you question everything you thought you knew about women's basketball. Fans, for years, have been patiently waiting for the league to reach its peak. You finally have casual viewers tuning in, arenas filling with excitement, and stars like Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hall capturing the hearts of millions. And then, in one decisive, catastrophic move, the entire season is erased. Gone. Deleted. The WNBA as we knew it. Dead, or at least temporarily buried under a pile of incompetence and internal chaos. It's not just about the games, it's the stats, or the missed opportunities for ticket sales. It's about players being treated like pawns, restricted in their own lives, and controlled in ways you wouldn't believe. Fans are furious. Social media is erupting. The league is under siege. The people at the top who are supposed to protect it seemingly don't care. Let me ask you this. When was the last time a professional sports league canceled an entire season simply because of internal failure? Not because of external circumstances, not because of a dispute, but because the system itself is broken. And if you think this is an exaggeration, just wait until you hear what's been happening behind closed doors. This is not just a mismanaged season. This is the WNBA on the edge of collapse. And the players, the fans, and the sport itself are all paying the price. It didn't start with a bang, it started small. A questionable foul call against Caitlin Clark in the first quarter of a mid-season game. Sophie Cunningham receives a warning for literally no reason. Lexi Hall is benched while playing the best basketball of her career. Fans notice. Players notice. But everyone keeps quiet, because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Keep your head down, play the game, collect your paycheck. Hope nothing escalates. Wrong. Behind the scenes, the tension was building. Players were being pulled into offices and handed lists of restrictions rather than strategy guides. Lists of what they couldn't do, who they couldn't hang out with, which sports they couldn't play. Stay in line or get suspended. Stay quiet or get cut. Obey or disappear. The invisible rules became a full-blown dictatorship, and yet, most of the public didn't know a thing. The league's handling of star players became more apparent with every passing week. Caitlin Clark, driving ticket sales and TV ratings, suddenly couldn't participate in normal activities, even outside the court. Sophie Cunningham's dedication to her game was met with constant warnings and invisible barriers. Lexi Hall's performance was minimized by unexplained benching, as if the league wanted to suppress their stars rather than celebrate them, and fans began to notice. Attendance started dropping. Social media exploded with complaints, and whispers of league manipulation began circulating. But the real story, the systematic restriction of players' freedom, was still hidden. It was like watching a slow-motion disaster, with the public only seeing the tip of the iceberg while the real chaos brewed underneath. What started as minor incidents soon snowballed into something unprecedented in professional sports history. And the people at the top, they were watching it all unfold without a single solution in sight. It wasn't just about benching players or unfair fouls anymore. The WNBA's top stars were being told how to live their lives. Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in the league, couldn't even play golf in her free time. Not with friends, not at charity events, not anywhere outside the league's invisible cage. Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall were told similar restrictions. Leave the rules and face suspension or worse, a permanent cut. Imagine being at the top of your game, driving ticket sales, inspiring thousands, and being told you don't own your own time. This wasn't hypothetical, it was happening in real life. The league's management had created a system where players were essentially prisoners in their own sport. Every choice, every hobby, every public interaction was monitored, restricted, and controlled. Fans began sensing it. Social media posts about players being silenced, videos showing strange referee calls, and news about unexplained warnings started surfacing. The stars themselves whispered to teammates, sharing their frustrations behind closed doors. They felt trapped, powerless, and under constant scrutiny. Even the smallest freedoms, things every other professional athlete would take for granted, were suddenly off limits. And yet the league acted as if nothing was wrong. Commissioners and executives ignored growing outrage, maintaining the illusion that everything was normal. Players had to perform on the court under pressure, knowing that the moment they stepped out of line, even slightly, they could lose everything. This section of control didn't just demoralize the athletes. It began to fracture the league's foundation. Fans were outraged. The media picked up whispers of scandal. But most importantly, the players themselves realized that the WNBA wasn't just mismanaged. It was systematically dismantling its own stars. The question now became, how far would the league push before the backlash became unavoidable? The fans noticed. At first, it was subtle empty seats in smaller arenas, social media comments questioning strange calls and unexplained benchings. But soon, it escalated into a full-blown revolution. Fans weren't just upset, they were furious. Tweets, posts, and videos calling out the league's behavior began spreading like wildfire. 1 million fans, voices united in anger, started boycotting games, refusing to watch. Refusing to support a league that treated its stars like prisoners, and the numbers spoke for themselves. Arenas that should have been packed were eerily empty. Chicago drew only 150 fans on what was supposed to be a marquee night. New York barely cracked 100. Games looked more like high school scrimmages than professional matchups. Security outnumbered spectators. The atmosphere was chilling players. Could literally hear the silence from the nosebleed seats. Every viral clip added fuel to the fire. Caitlin Clark getting elbowed with 0 calls. Lexi Hall writhing in pain while referees turned a blind eye. Sophie Cunningham facing warnings for showing up and performing her heart out. Fans were seeing, recording, and sharing it all. The outrage wasn't just online. It was visible in every empty seat and abandoned arena. The boycott wasn't just a protest. It was a statement. Fans were saying, enough. They were holding the league accountable for the treatment of its players and the overall mismanagement of the season. This wasn't a small ripple, it was a tidal wave. One that forced the league's hand and made executives start realizing the gravity of the situation. Suddenly, what had seemed like minor incidents now looked like a full-scale crisis. The WNBA wasn't just facing criticism, it was facing its own fans, united, and completely disillusioned. As the fan boycott gained momentum, the cracks within the league's management became impossible to ignore. Adam Silver, normally composed and calculated, was forced to call emergency meetings behind closed doors. No cameras. No press. Just executives sitting in tense silence, fully aware that the league was imploding before their eyes. The question hanging over the room, how could this happen under their watch? Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner, appeared unmoved or, perhaps paralyzed. Reports surfaced of players being cut without explanation, warned for innocuous actions, and restricted from activities outside basketball. Internal emails leaked, revealing lists of what players could and could not do. No strategy, no guidance, just control and suppression. It was as if the league had replaced basketball development with bureaucracy and punishment. Executives were panicking. Sponsors quietly removed banners from arenas. Ticket sales had flatlined. Empty stands stared back at them like accusations. The stars driving the league's popularity, the very reason fans tuned in, were being punished and silenced. Every unaddressed complaint, every ignored incident, added fuel to the growing firestorm. Meanwhile, players were whispering to each other about the toxic environment. Injuries were ignored. Concerns went unanswered. And yet, management seemed more focused on maintaining the illusion of control than solving the real problems. The disconnect between leadership and the players, between executives and fans, had reached a breaking point. By the time Adam Silver reviewed the evidence viral videos, fan boycotts, empty arenas, he realized the truth. This wasn't a series of small mistakes. This was systematic chaos, a dismantling of the league from within. The WNBA was hemorrhaging credibility, and if something wasn't done immediately, it wouldn't survive another season. The tipping point came when Adam Silver realized the full scope of the disaster. Empty arenas, abandoned stands, viral videos showing stars injured or punished, and players silenced. It was undeniable. The WNBA wasn't just mismanaged. It was collapsing under the weight of its own internal chaos. And in that emergency meeting, Silver made the decision that would shock the sports world. The entire 2026 season was canceled. It wasn't a temporary pause, not a postponement. The season was erased. Preseason, training camps, the draft gone. Fans couldn't believe it. Players were stunned. Media outlets scrambled to make sense of it. And in that silence, the magnitude of what had been happening behind closed doors finally hit home. The league had allowed a culture of control, restriction, and suppression to grow unchecked. And the result was catastrophic. Players who had given everything to the game felt vindicated, yet frustrated. Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hall. Their voices had been silenced for months. And now, the very platform they thrived on had vanished. Fans who had rallied, boycotted, and protested felt their anger validated. Empty arenas had finally spoken louder than words. The fallout was immediate. Sponsors quietly pulled out. Social media exploded with outrage and support for the players. The league's credibility was in ruins. Kathy Engelbert, once the face of WNBA leadership, watched as everything she was supposed to protect crumbled. And yet, for players and fans alike, there was a sense of relief. The toxic cycle had been exposed, and for the first time, accountability was unavoidable. This wasn't just a canceled season, it was a statement. A moment of reckoning. And as the dust settled, everyone knew one thing: the WNBA would never be the same again. The aftermath of the canceled season was chaos, outrage, and reflection all at once. Fans flooded social media with their thoughts, dissecting every decision, every restriction, every missed call. Viral clips of Caitlin Clark being restricted from normal activities. Sophie Cunningham benched for no reason, and Lexi Hall injured with no protection circulated endlessly. Every post, every comment, every share amplified the sense that the league had reached a breaking point. Players began speaking up privately at first, then publicly, sharing their frustrations about being silenced, punished, and restricted. Locker rooms became spaces of truth, telling stories of injuries ignored, opportunities blocked, and personal freedoms limited came to light. The narrative of oppression became undeniable, and fans responded not just with outrage but with support. Millions understood that this wasn't about a single game or season. It was about respect, fairness, and the rights of athletes. Comment sections. Forums and fan groups erupted in discussion. Should the commissioner be fired? Do the players deserve compensation? How can the league recover? Every reaction added momentum to the conversation, making it impossible to ignore the human side of the story. It wasn't just numbers or empty arenas anymore. It was real people, real emotions, real consequences. Sponsors, executives, and media outlets were all forced to take note. The boycott and public backlash had real power. For the first time, fans felt like active participants, shaping the outcome of a major professional league. And the players, they felt heard, validated, and empowered. The WNBA's crisis had transformed into a movement, a chance for change, accountability, and reform. But one question remained. Would the league listen, or would history repeat itself? The conversation was just getting started, and everyone had a voice. As the dust settled, one question loomed over the WNBA. What comes next? The canceled season had exposed a league in crisis, but it hadn't answered the biggest questions. Would the league recover? Could the players trust the system again? And what about the fans who had stood up, boycotted, and demanded accountability? The future of stars like Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hall was uncertain. Would they return under the same restrictions or demand freedom and fairness in a system that had silenced them? And the commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, would she retained her position, or would the scandal finally cost her leadership? Every decision now carried weight far beyond wins and losses. The league's credibility, its reputation, and its very survival hung in the balance. Fans, meanwhile, continued to voice their opinions. Online discussions, hashtags, and forums became a battleground of ideas. Should the WNBA rebuild from the ground up, or is it too late? Could the league regain trust? Or had the mismanagement permanently fractured the relationship with its audience? Every empty arena and every viral video became a reminder that the WNBA could no longer afford mistakes. The uncertainty wasn't just administrative, it was emotional. Players felt betrayed but hopeful. Fans felt angered but empowered. And the sports world watched, fascinated and skeptical. As one of the most dramatic chapters in women's basketball history unfolded, the WNBA 2026 season may have been canceled, but its story is far from over. This is more than basketball, it's about respect, empowerment, and accountability. Players who gave their all were restricted, silenced, and punished for pursuing excellence. Fans who stood by them showed that their voices can shape a league. And executives now face the consequences of inaction as the league faces rebuilding. The lessons are clear. No system can thrive by controlling its stars, ignoring its fans, or pretending problems don't exist. Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hall, and every player in the league deserve recognition, freedom, and respect. The WNBA's story is a cautionary tale, a call to fans and players alike. Stay vigilant, stay engaged, and demand accountability. So what happens next? Will the league rise from the ashes stronger than before, or will history repeat itself? Will players regain their freedom, fans regain their trust, and sponsors return? This isn't just a season, it's a movement, and you, the audience, are part of it. Comment below, share your thoughts, and stay tuned, because this story is far from over. The WNBA may have been canceled, but its impact, its controversy, and its lessons will echo for years to come.
Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more dives into Hollywood's hidden history.